Oh, so we're here at Creepy World once again. We're making another video behind the screams at Creepy World. We never stop working here all night, all day. Ow, damn it, I almost fell down. Jesus Christ, I almost killed myself. Anyway, there's so much that's left to do with only 3.5 weeks to go. So what does it take to get a haunted scream park open? It keeps you from going on vacations. It keeps you from doing anything fun in the summer. That I can tell you for a fact. Okay, what the heck? What the hell is that? Oh, there's a rabbit. See it? Rabbit! Come here, rabbit! Okay, what does it take to get a haunted scream park open? And we're gonna see something really cool here in a second. And I'm whispering. Hold on a second. Nicholas?
Found one?
Yes, I found one. You put me on the job, so yes. And I'm gonna throw with my left hand. I'm not left-handed.
Oh.
And I hit him right in the balls. Did I hit you in the balls?
We got a major problem.
What?
It fell in between the walls.
Are you kidding me? Can you get it? So, building a scream park is so much work. Because, can you get it? And here's why. You see these rails? We put these rails in many years ago so we could have permanent queue lines. Now maybe we should do them out of steel. But you know, you replace about 30% of all the rails every year because they rot and they fall apart, and you got to come back, you got to rebuild the rails, you got to like rebuild some walls.
Yeah, it's a lost cause.
Oh my gosh, now I got to walk all the way back because you can't catch.
It was more about the throw.
It was more about the throw. He's blaming me. Of course he's blaming me. Now here's another thing that we have at a scream park. You see this right here? That's a Winnebago. So during the Halloween season, people sleep here and they try to catch people sneaking in, and we run them off. And we have a four-wheeler, and all night long on a four-wheeler we chase people off. The cops come here because we hire them to work here. They love the place, so they come here all the time at night, try to catch people roaming around. We have cameras all over the place to catch people when they're coming out here late at night. But it's a big place, and it's hard to keep track of everything. And do you see these truck trailers? And you see there's two of them. One there, one there. This one is a makeup trailer, and this one is a costume trailer. And then you see right here, there's a deck. There's stairs on both sides. And you know, we have to replace those stairs, I don't know, every couple years because, you know, they rot and you got to replace them. And yeah, that's makeup, and then this is costumes. So that's how our actors work out here. Is we have two semi trucks, and then do you see this right here? These picnic tables. We have an area where we have tons and tons of picnic tables where the actors hang out while they're, you know, waiting to go in the haunts or whatever. The way that we put the actors in and the way that it works is the actors who work And the first few haunts goes in first, and then they're also the first to get makeup, and then the second half of the haunt goes in last. Then of course they leave last, which is unfortunate, but they're also the last to go in. So what does it take to run a haunted scream park? Well, at the end of the season, you've got to store everything, which takes weeks to do. You got to put everything away, which sucks because you're open for, Creepy World's open for like 22, 23 days. And you spend 6 months getting it together. 6 stressful months. Also, a big part of those months is when it's extremely hot, which really sucks. And one of the reasons why we haven't been able to open it for, say, the Trance World is because it's also extremely cold in St. Louis in the winter. So that makes it very difficult to work here, you know, at night. So we're gonna go, let me see. Yeah, we're gonna go around. And the other thing is, where people get queued up is very important. And the other thing that's really important about a scream park, which makes it very difficult to operate, is, you see, this is a queue line that leads to the main queue line. And we have to scan the tickets. We have to paste people into the attraction. And then when they leave the first attraction, they go straight in to the second one, where there's another queue line, and we get another chance. That's that motorized animation, and it's like squealing, and it scared the hell out of me. So anyway, once you, with the way that Creepy World's set up with multiple queue lines, we have to have everybody on the same page, because if one person's letting him in too fast, he swamps the next house. So everybody's got to be in unison. There's a whole parking lot dilemma that has to be dealt with. We have to park each and every car. That's one of the benefits, like the darkness, because there is no parking lot for the darkness. There's a parking lot, so they're all over the place. But people find a place to park and they just walk on over. But at Creepy World, we gotta park everybody. We charge $5 to park. And the reason we do, because we have to hire 15 plus people to work in that parking lot. Then at the end of the night, holy cow, we gotta clean up all the trash. Those people are here till like 2 in the morning cleaning up the trash. Now we got to make sure that he gets this time without and I'll tell you another without it falling again. And another thing I'll tell you about running a scream park is, like, on our hayride. You ready for this?
Yeah, you sure you got this?
He clearly didn't play baseball. Another thing about running a scream park is, let's go over here and look at this hayride while he's doodling around with that thing. Okay, so on a busy night, we'll have up to three wagons running, okay? And look at this, you can't see anything because we don't have the lights turned on. And I think I talked about this. This was a new thing we just bought this year, and we programmed it, and it's going to give a speech about the rules, about the hayride rules. But the other thing about the hayride, that's just another dilemma in itself too, because the wagons all have to go at the same speed, otherwise they run into each other or they ruin the show. And we actually have a very clever setup for the hayride, because the actors are kind of sort of in the center of the hayride, so they can hit people on the left, they can hit people on the right. And you see this? We're gonna fog this up and see what this facade looks like here at Creepy World. And you can like, they can hit the people on the left, they can literally walk over and then hit people on the other side and kind of double up. The hayride is very theatrical. The actors out there are fantastic, especially the guy who plays Jason. I really love him. And then the guy who plays Leatherface, he's also really good. He does the chainsaw dance. He's fantastic. And see, that's a big old animation there. And here's some other problems with Scream Parks. When it rains, it pours, right? So a lot of times a Scream Park cannot open when it rains hard. You have a lot of things plugged in, they can get wet, they can shut off electric. You know, it's just a big old problem. But then, you know, you go to the darkness and it rains, it's no big deal at all. You just keep on going. So you just try to go as fast as you can at the darkness so that people don't have to be in the rain for very long, which really isn't a problem, because when it rains, even if you have an indoor haunt, people, they don't tend to go anywhere when it rains, right? You know, because maybe they're afraid it's gonna a car wreck or whatever. But the darkness is rain proof, okay? So is LEMP. So on the nights that it rains, it doesn't affect those haunts that much, because there are shorter lines, not as many people come because it rains, although they should come, because anybody should go to a haunted house that's indoors. We do have a partial indoor queue line at Darkness. At LEMP, we have a massive indoor queue line. I mean, I can tell you almost no one waits in the rain over at the LEMP. But at Creepy World, you would have to be in the rain. If it's drizzling, it's not so bad. You got to run around and put out fires all over the place at a Scream Park. And that's another problem with a Scream Park, opposed to an indoor haunt. And if it rains too hard, you know, you can't even, getting tired at 2 in the morning, you can't even open at all. So, like I said, another problem at a Scream Park is, again, like I said, you got to keep everybody in sync. Every single haunt has to be in communication at all times to make sure that they're not swamping the next haunt. And you know what happens every single year? One of the guys is letting them in too fast, somebody else is letting them in too slow, and the queue line backs up into a haunt. This is a problem. This is a serious problem. And so, you know, another problem is you don't have enough queue line for everybody if you're not scanning them fast enough. So, you know, I think some people also have a problem with Scream Parks, especially the Creepy World, because they think, you know, hey, there's too many waiting in line. Well, you know what? The upside is we're trying to, at Creepy World, we're trying to break the groups up again. So it's not one big giant long conga line. And look at this, he's spraying the fog. So let's check this out. That laser we cannot see.
Oh, I'm gonna dial it in.
Okay, he's trying to dial it in. What do you think of the facade? The entrance to the new Monster Mansion. Now, of course, we've got to get audio out here and get this thing going. I almost think it needs to come out of his mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, over the top of his back. I don't know. What do you guys think? And I think that fog machine needs to spray kind of up. Not like out towards me.
Like this?
Huh?
Like this? Up and out like that?
Yeah, kind of like up. But the laser, I think, needs to come over the top of his back, if that's even possible. And so when we're talking about Scream Parks, the other problem with a Scream Park is electric. You're always running around trying to figure out why something's not working. But what is really cool about a Scream Park is when it gets kind of cold, the fog lingers like everywhere. You see how it's like just blowing away and it disappearing. So it is a little cold out here. It's a little crisp, but I would say, you know, it's probably around 70. But when the Halloween season is going, it can get, you know, to 50, 45. something like that. It gets nice and cold. The cold weather just makes the fog linger around, and it kind of gets everywhere, and it kind of just stays, which is really nice. Let's go over here and take a look at this facade over here. Oh, he's spraying the fog. I don't know. What do you guys think of that laser? I meant. I don't know if that's the best laser either, by the way.
You want a different mode?
Yeah, try a different mode. Let's take a look. But that looks cool though, if we have fog. Is that red lasers? Okay. Looks like that looks kind of neat. I think we would need a better fog machine. I wonder if that would be cool, like coming out of his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have 2 of them, by the way. That would be pretty neat.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah, maybe. We have another one at the darkness. You could go grab it.
Yeah. Well, when I start working on this facade, I'll mount 2 in the eyes, and then I'll put it on that setting, and then you can see what you think.
I think we're going to have to get a better fog machine. One that's constantly spraying fog.
You chose this one.
Well, I thought it would be easy and simple. And we need to get the wings.
You know, I thank you, because carrying those huge ones up here would suck. Well, I'm going to have to at some point.
There's Nicholas. He's up there. We need to get lights in these turrets. We need to get lights
Look at this.
over here shining on
Look
it.
at this.
Noel, 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 Noel. What is that saying? Hip hop? Hip hop, dippity dot. Look at that. What is that?
It's Flintstone.
That's what it looks like, the Flintstones. What the heck is going, an elephant?
An elephant. This thing has like a million different settings.
You know, dance, 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 dance. Okay. You know, I'll tell you something. When it comes to the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, the Democrats are donkeys and the Republicans are elephants. I think that alone says Republicans are better than Democrats. Who would pick a donkey as the animal? Like, that's so crazy. I just thought of that because that thing did an elephant. Like, what the heck? Who would pick a donkey? You know, it's like another way to say it is, hey, our party are asses. I'm just saying. Look at that. You know, I wanted to say something because I'm going to actually do another video on this. This is going way off subject. I think you're having too much fun up there, Nick. Look at him. He's up there just having a blast. Look at this. Now he's got like, what is that, a pigeon or something? Nick, like you've gone crazy. That's the Canadian flag. I don't think so. Oh my God. He's lost his mind. Do you hear him up there laughing hysterically?
Like a maniac.
Yeah, you're a maniac. Can you see him up there? I did a Titanic video.
Alright, I'm coming down.
All right, come on down. I did a Titanic video at the Luxor where I took a camera, and I didn't even know if I would be allowed to do it. And you know what? Of all the videos that I've uploaded, that one is like got the most controversy. And our channel's not like huge, so that video is just kind of sort of putted along on the Haunt World channel, I mean. And we also have a Scarefest channel and a Blacklight. What the heck? What'd you do?
I dropped the light.
Okay, at least you didn't get hurt.
You think I died?
I wasn't sure. I told you, like, you can't do that until after Halloween. After Halloween, who cares? But anyway, here's the thing. I did a Titanic video, and I went in there and I was whispering, because number one, I was afraid that, you know, you weren't supposed to videotape it. I was going to do it anyway. And the second reason I was whispering is because I felt like I was among all these Titanic artifacts, and I felt solemn, you know. I felt, you know, thinking about all the people who died. But of all the videos that I've ever put up, the most controversial is that one, because I was looking at all the artifacts of the Titanic, and I was talking about how they should get every artifact off the bottom of the ocean. They should bring up another big piece of the Titanic. And then, boy, I'll tell you what, when you talk about the Titanic, man, people have some really strong feelings about that ship. And I want to say this, that I have been a Titanic fan since a little boy, long before James Cameron ever made the movie Titanic. And I went to the movie theater and saw the movie Raise the Titanic, because I was so fascinated with maybe one day they'll find it and they'll raise it, and it would be so fantastic. And I remember being so excited. I saw Raise the Titanic for my birthday. So I know that movie came out in March, somewhere in the 1980s, I think. And I went to see it, and I was just so excited to see it raise up and float, and I just fantasized about it until Robert Ballard found it, and then he found it in two pieces, and then you knew it was never going to come up. But I wanted to say, just the other day, the people who have the rights to bring things up off the bottom of the ocean, which is very controversial for some people, because they feel like it's a, you know, like a final resting place. But I'm going to do another video about this, because did anybody hear what just happened to the Titanic? When you think about that movie, and you think about like the bow, and you think about the railings, and you know, like Jack, you know, on the railing, I'm on top of the world and all that. Well, a big chunk of that railing just fell off, changing the view of the Titanic. When they always go to the bow, the railing is gone on the so if you're staring at the bow, it would be on the right side. The right side fell off. Sucks. And you know, I wanted to make a video about that because of all the controversy that video whipped up. Because in the video, I said flat out, they should pull every artifact that they can find on that ship and bring it up, because one day that entire ship is just going to collapse on itself. It won't be there anymore. It'll be a rust speck on the bottom of the ocean. Oh, it looks like Nick just darted into the pumpkin patch. It'll be a rust speck on the bottom of the ocean. So they should pull everything up. Maybe they shouldn't pull up the shoes, you know, and stuff like that, because the shoes, that was a person that basically is gone, but the creatures that live down there, they can't destroy the leather apparently. And yeah, that's awful. They're never going to get the whole ship up, but like, yeah, the artifacts, take them all, get them all up, you know, so people can see it and enjoy it. It's just unbelievably sad to hear that that part of the railing fell off. I'm like so heartbroken. I love all sunken ships. I'm fascinated by them so much. I mean, my dream was to get to pay whatever it was to go down to the Titanic and see it. And you know, then after those people blew up doing that, I don't know, not so much. But they used to offer that, and at one point it was like $50,000 to do it. And I was going to do it. I was like, hell, I'm doing it. Now I hear it's in the hundreds of thousands, so I may never get to go down to the Titanic. I don't have that kind of money to spend on a boat trip down to the bottom of the ocean, but it would be fun all the same. I would love to see that ship with my own eyes. I'm also fascinated by the Bismarck, which is a German battleship. Fascinated with literally any sunken ship, anything. And I would love to raise them all. I think it would be so cool. So back to our topic of what does it take to operate a Scream Park? You know, when you operate an indoor haunted house, a lot easier because you have a controlled environment. And you have air compressors. Out here we have to rent them. For certain parking lots, we have to rent parking lot lights. It's just so much harder to operate an outdoor screen park. It's so much harder to set it up. It's so much harder to get it open. So much harder to get it going. They also take a lot more employees. I would say the Darkness can operate with, like 75 staff, which is a lot. But Creepy World needs somewhere in the 150 range, I'm guessing. It's a lot of people. The labor's higher. The setup costs are higher. The renovation costs are higher. Every year you have to kind of go back and fix a lot of electric because, another big problem with an outdoor screen park, especially if you have trees, you have to every few years go around and see if there's any weak trees and cut off the branches. We've done this, I don't even know how many times since I've been here. We've probably done it 5-6 times, eliminate trees. Sometimes you come back in the winter, after the winter, and the trees have fallen or whatever because they get a lot of ice on them. They get heavier and they fall off the branches. I mean, it's a lot of problems. The other problem with the outdoor screen park is storage. Storage is a big problem. Some of these outdoor screen parks are on farms, so they built sheds and things to put everything in. We have not done that, so we have done outdoor containers. So let me show you. So if you look at, just as an example, and we're gonna go over here and take a look. So you'll see outdoor container, and the key is to have the outdoor containers point it to you. So yes, we have a Bobcat and we have tractors as well. So we can load these containers. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 there. On that side, we have containers that make a partial wall on the back of the hayride. Okay, we can kind of take a look at that. So how many outdoor containers are out here? I mean, heck, I don't even know. 10, 12, 40 yarders. There's a bunch. We used to store everything, it was in truck trailers. We ended up getting rid of most of them, and we elected instead to go with these trailers. So you see one right there with the doors open. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and some of them you can stack. Now the key when you stack them is that you can walk on top of another one so you don't fall. So when you look at that one over there, you see it's in the middle on 2 sides. All that really matters is the side that you're loading it. So you can pick something up, put it on the top of another container so you can walk around and load it. And you can see you can do that with this one as well. So this container is kind of also serving as a retaining wall for this upper parking lot. And you'll see this one over here. See, look at this. I'll come over here and literally, see, I can touch the top of it. So these containers, we have learned that you can also have them serve as retaining walls. And so then you see there's a little ladder to get up to the top one. So we'll put stuff on the top of this deck and we'll load that one. What's really nice about containers is they can serve as storage, but they're also really secure. Another problem with screen parks is, I don't know how much money we've spent, but my guess is $150,000 to $200,000 in gravel. And you almost never have enough, and you always have truckloads, drop more off every season. And you see this parking lot up here, it used to be sloped, and we have literally raised it as high as you see it with gravel. Because it rains, and rain is a big problem. Okay, it's a big problem. Another problem that you have with an outdoor screen park is more than likely you don't have real restrooms. So you have to do a lot of porta potties. And you don't have, a lot of times too, you won't have real infrastructure. And that's why you would do like this container right here for a concession stand. There's so many problems with outdoor screen parks, the weather, here's another problem. Hey, Nick! Another problem, hold on, I'm coming to you. Another problem with outdoor screen parks is grass, weeds, and animals. So the animals can get into things and chew things up, but the weeds grow up all over the place. So we have to probably cut the grass out here 8 times, 10 times over the summer just so we can walk around here. It's like insane. What are you doing next?
What do you mean?
What's your plan now? What are you doing?
Turning off the lights.
Oh, you leaving?
Yeah, I got here at 3 p.m. today.
Oh, well, you need to get out here earlier tomorrow. You got to start working, 10, 12 hours a day so we can get this done. What do you think?
10 hours. I actually met Riley this morning. I've been up since 7 a.m.
Hey, what do you think I'm doing a video, and it's called, What Are the Problems with an Outdoor Screen Park? What do you think some of the problems are, Nick? Rain. And I'll tell you another thing, that if you do an outdoor screen park, you need to buy a lot of these outdoor string lights. So see, this is behind the scenes that leads to the actor rooms, but it also allows us to cut all the way to the back. Now, how can we see? String lights. How can our customers see in the queue lines? String lights. But what are some of the other problems with an outdoor screen park, in your opinion?
You got the rain. I mean, it's got pros and cons. You got the weather that sucks. I mean, that's really the worst thing, honestly. I don't know, what was your other things you didn't like?
Oh, I named a whole bunch. I'm wondering if you can think of anything that I haven't already thought of.
The animations take more of a beating.
Yeah, they definitely take it more of a beating. And another problem is when people walk around on this gravel, they kick up a lot of dust and dirt, and it gets all over everything. The other thing that's a problem too is when you're walking around in these mazes, it tends like they make grooves in the mazes.
Yeah, they dig a trench.
They dig a trench from walking, and they also turn the gravel to dust over time. So you have to literally go back, but then you'll have piles of it like going up the sides of the walls. That's like another problem. You got to go and rake.
Well, one of the things about all the dust in the air is in the slaughterhouse, before we opened it last year, all the new Ghost Ride stuff, it's like super glossy and looks really wet. After like the first weekend, everything was like matte because of how much dust it got. So every once in a while, I'd go through and stab a hole in a water bottle and spray stuff and kind of wipe it off just so it would look wet, because otherwise it just makes everything matte.
Now let me ask you something, Nicholas, while we walk. Here, walk in front of me.
I don't want to follow me to turn.
I don't want you staring at me. You kind of freak me out. But Nicholas, let me ask you a question. You've been at the Darkness, you've been at Creepy World. Which one do you like working at better? Which one's more fun?
Creepy World.
Creepy World's more fun. Why? With all the negatives. Because, I talked about like all the positives. There's so many more positives, really, on an indoor haunted house because it's easier to manage. But and by the way, are you going to fix this?
Yeah. It's on my list, don't worry.
But what is the reason why you like Creepy World better?
I don't know, there's more haunted houses. It doesn't really ever get like, I don't know, I'm not saying it gets stale like working at the Darkness, but there's always more, I know this sounds bad, but there's more problems here. So whenever you're doing stuff like I do, where I go fix animations or do maintenance stuff, there's never like downtime where you're not doing anything. So
by the way, we got to get that up.
Yeah, and so the night goes by way faster, and it just feels like you're more productive, because when you're like, Darkness just runs flawlessly for the most part, so really you're just kind of sitting around waiting for something bad to happen, and then usually there's never malfunctions, and if it is, they're minor.
I think one of the things that's cooler too about an outdoor screen park is, the weather is a pro when it's nice and cold and you're wearing a hoodie and it just feels like Halloween.
Darkness gets hot, but you got the AC in there now, so I don't know. You're going to be able to like mimic cold fall weather inside the Darkness now.
By the way, I wanted to walk through this pumpkin patch with you. Can we walk through it real
Well, I
quick?
turned off half of it.
Oh, you bum. I was gonna point out.
Show him that 20-foot Frankenstein.
Yeah, he looks cool. But I was gonna point out some of the stuff that we need to get done. We still need to get lights done in here. Like a lot of the pumpkins aren't where they're supposed to go and need lights, right?
Yeah.
I was almost thinking too, like we need like we need to get the sound set up in here.
Setup. It's just Adam got tired of listening to it, so he turned it off.
So he turned it off. We need to get corn stalks.
I knew that's what I was telling Riley. I was like, we need to get like 1,000 corn stalks now.
We need to get these set up.
See all these walls where it's like that old lighting on the backdrop?
Why aren't these coming on? These lights?
Because they're all dead.
They're all dead?
Yeah.
Well, that's no good.
But I'm saying you should line all this black wall with corn stalks because it'll make it feel more immersive and it'll look cool. It'll feel spooky. And everybody else was telling me they don't want to do corn because they don't want to get cut by it. But Ramsey said he'd do corn. So
He'll do corn. What do you mean he'll do corn?
when you're stapling it up, corn has bacteria and like the, leaves on it. And it's easy to get cut by it. When you get cut by it, you get like, your skin swells up and you get infected.
Hey, pick that up, would you? So, now one of the things too, Nick, that I need you to do, and maybe you
You're
want,
gonna get copyright on your video.
maybe you might want to do it before, and maybe you might want to do it before you actually. Just in there, we need to go through and put all the pumpkins back up and
Yeah,
put all the
right
props
now.
back up. Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, we're gonna head out, but we're gonna try to get to this ghoul band tomorrow. And we're gonna try to get back to this ghoul band and show you this thing functioning. Now, I wanna just say real quick about this ghoul band. I got this thing from Spooky World, Minnesota. So there was 2 Spooky Worlds. There was one in Boston, run by David Bertolino, and then he licensed it to somebody in Minnesota. And that one didn't work out. And he had the ghoul band made by a company called VP Productions, which was a guy named Bob Van. And on this very channel, on the Haunt World channel, I uploaded a VP Production vintage animation video. One of the very first companies that were offering any kind of animations for the haunt industry. And that video is on the Haunt World channel. And that guy, he unfortunately passed away from cancer, but he made these ghoul bands. He made them, they only made 2, and I have one of them. And we're gonna have it back in action. We're gonna make a video about that. But I think I went over a lot of the problems with screen parks. Requires just a lot of extra labor, a lot of coordination. You gotta have good radios. And you really got to have a very diversified palette. In other words, if you're one of these guys that only likes pizza and hamburgers, a screen park is not for you. If you're not willing to work all summer long to try to get it up and running, and and you think about Creepy World's over 7 acres long. Okay, 7 acres of haunting. It's massive, absolutely massive. And you gotta there's so many areas you gotta be checking on a daily basis. So we got a lot of work to do. We got three weeks. Are we gonna get this thing done or not?
Yep. All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Well, when you're leaving so early, Nick, we're never gonna get it done.
I'm here for at least 10 hours a day.
I'm gonna have to put a
On a-
ball and chain on your
On
ankle.
a short day, I'll be here for 10 hours.
I am buying Nick an ankle bracelet so I can
You
monitor
can monitor
him.
where I'm at.
Yeah, you need to be here at all times. We got to get this thing done. Well, that's about it. This is just another video. This one is about some of the negatives of a screen park. And as we get Creepy World done, we're going to come out here. I mean, we've got so much left to do, and we've been on this thing since March. We got to get the escape room done. We got to get the monsters in there. We got to get the pumpkin patch done. We got to recheck all the animations, the sound, the fog, the lighting.
You got the compressor coming next week.
We got a compressor coming, and you know what's going to happen? It's going to blow all the lines, so we got to go around and fix them all. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes with the screen park. A lot of stuff. You got to start way, way early. And you know what the biggest benefit is to a haunt like the Darkness? Like, you know, and that's the funny part. The Darkness, you would think, oh, you got it open for Transworld. Well, it was never done at Transworld. There's not enough time, not when the show's like, you know, towards the end of February or beginning of March. So, you know, we went into the Darkness. We worked on a little bit more after Transworld. There's just like a lot of stuff in there we just didn't get done. And then we've since gotten done. But then we have to go in the Darkness and we have to do like a whole inspection of it. We have to walk through it. We got to check it, double check it. We got to put rails out on the side. We got to put queue lines out the front. We had to put the sign up, which we've already done. Water and all the water effects. I mean, there's just so much stuff, even for there to do. But when you think about it, you can go in the Darkness. You can. Oh, another thing we had to do was get new air conditioning. We had to get more air compression. I mean, yeah, a lot of stuff had to be done. Since Transworld, when you would think, oh, well, you already had it all done, and that's one of the benefits. No, we were far from it. But now you can literally go in the Darkness, you press a couple buttons, you turn on some TVs, and you're ready to roll. That is not the case at Creepy World. Now, another cool thing at Creepy World, we have just about as many CGI effects and TVs out here as we do at Creepy World, really, right? And they all got to be put back in by hand. And every year, you know, some TVs get broken and we have to like replace them. That's just another drawback to a screen park. But you know what the upside is? I think that the haunted house customer likes the screen park better. Would you not say that?
Yeah.
I would.
People like spending time out here more. I mean, I know at Darkness they're kind of made to leave after they get out of the gift shop, but here people like to stick around. You know, they got the Midway. You know, they can get food, watch the movie, buy stuff in the gift shop, spend money.
Oh yeah, spend money. They don't spend that much. I will tell you before we go. Another.
Speaking to the honest haunter, that's what they want to hear. You know?
Listen to him.
They'll spend money in your Midway.
Yeah, they don't spend a lot. They don't spend a lot. But I will tell you, you know what the biggest drawback of a screen park is? Parking. Every single screen park has a problem with parking. They don't have enough. Because screen parks are longer, that means the customers stay here longer. So what the average time somebody is at Creepy World, it's well over an hour. Okay, it's well over an hour. So that means their parking spot is tied up for over an hour. And as Nick said, when they come out, they might spend a little time in the Midway. And now you got the pumpkin patch. So, especially if the lines are long and stuff, somebody could be here for like 2 hours. You never have enough parking.
And then whenever there's all the people here, you know, they get too excited and they start blocking each other in. And then, you know, people park crazy.
And that's why you got to have a lot of parking people. One of the biggest problems of the screen park, if you don't have enough parking to have people there for endless amounts of time, is you can't keep people here forever. So if you build a big, massive Midway and you don't have enough parking, well, you've made a big mistake because you're never going to be able to get more customers in. So that's a big problem. So one of the ways that we're handling that this year, and I think it's actually pretty clever, is we've made images that we can put on social media, and we've also made videos, and we're going to promote those videos that you can save Big League if you visit on a weekday, which is any night in September, any night in November, or any night in October, Sunday through Thursday. And it'll say you can save up to $10 if you come on a weeknight. It'll say shorter lines, save money. And so we're actually launching a campaign this year. We're going to spend some money trying to convince people to come on weekdays or come early in October or September, and we'll see what happens. And we'll report back right here on the Haunt World channel. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell?
Yeah.
What does the bell do?
gives them notifications every time you post something.
So
You're
hit
posting this to YouTube,
hit the
right?
bell, but not too hard. We don't want you to get hearing loss. So, is it a real bell?
Yeah. It dings whenever you hit it.
So you hit a bell, like a real bell, like a bronze
It's
bell.
like by where you hit subscribe, there's a little bell, and you click it, and then it highlights it.
So is it a digital bell or a
Yeah,
physical
digital
bell?
bell.
It's a digital bell. Okay. So don't hit it too hard. We don't want you to crack your monitor. So until then, happy Halloween right here from Creepy World, where we're going to have a lot more videos coming soon. The Gold Band.
Yeah.
The Gold
I can get
Band.
on it.
We got to get on the Gold Band. So from Creepy World, I can't wait to see it running. And I'll tell you, probably the absolute best feature of a screen park is drones. You can fly that drone right through here. You can get great footage and show the customers just how gigantic and big it is. And that's probably one of the biggest benefits of a screen park, is that you can fly drones around through it. So until then, we'll see you next time.